You know, there are people, unfortunately, grow up in this world in homes where they were abandoned or other forms of hurt. So you can imagine when they get into a relationship, one of their fears is abandonment. They're afraid their husband or wife will abandon them. And they have very high antenna, that person, to the point that they'll read into everything, even things that are not abandonment, they'll see possible abandonment. That's how it is. Because you feel that you don't deserve love. So one scenario that happened with me was a couple that had these issues. Well, one of them had these issues. And when they were in that state, they would become very abusive to their spouse, saying things like, you know, you're a betrayer, you're a liar, you're cheating on me, when there was no basis for it. So of course the spouse who understood where it's coming from, at some point emotionally you start reacting, you know what, I've been giving to you unconditionally, even though you have these, you start hurling all these accusations. So he called me in one of these scenarios, and I said to him, I know you're not going to like my advice, but my advice is that you should swallow your pride and your anger and send her a beautiful bouquet of flowers. He said, are you crazy? I want to divorce her now. What's sending a bouquet of flowers? So I said, you're asking me my advice? That's my advice. He did it, to his credit. And ultimately, the real thing behind it was because he did not react the human way. The human way is tit for tat. Someone punches you, you punch them back. I understand that fully. But that's not transcendence. You may even be entitled to do it, may even be justified. But that's not love. That's not how love works. That, you know, what love works is that when someone's in a weaker state like that, or whatever it is, and as much as they're hurting you, you send them flowers. Remember, we're talking about someone that you have a relationship for years, and you have children. It's not like, I'm not talking about a first date. And what happens is, in some way, it shakes that person up. It's like it's a shock, because they don't expect that. They're expecting more abandonment. They yell at you in a way they like almost want to set it up that you should leave them. They're sabotaging the relationship. And when you do that, not to expect that, oh, the person, oh, I can't believe you sent me flowers. I realize now the mistake I made. That doesn't often happen. But over time, what happens is something seeps through. Because a person who's been abandoned is realizing here's a person who doesn't abandon them. And even when they yell and scream, an intelligent person realizes, you know, he transcended it. Now, does this mean we're supposed to tolerate all kinds of abuse and there's no limit, and you just be the punching bag even for someone like that? Obviously not. In the Alzheimer's case, there was no choice. She had no choice. It wasn't her fault. I'm not suggesting we become a doormat and a punching bag for a spouse. That's not appropriate either. That's why I have to qualify all this case by case, because there are situations that you have to get objective advice what to do if there is a real imbalance. In other words, if you're totally transcendent and you're really giving and you're being the best you can be, and there's problems happening, you need to have advice. I'm not suggesting transcendence conquers all. Because again, as I said, it takes two to tango, and the other person may have real issues, and you have to address them. But I'm suggesting overall, this formula, especially if both parties are able to embrace it, is the key to all successful relationships, and is the key to enduring and lasting ones. Because almost everybody can find a relationship that lasts for one night. I don't mean it as a one-night stand. I mean, you know, something that's temporary. Yeah, temporary, but sustainable, lasting, enduring. No, that you can't fake. That only comes if there's something transcendent.